Okay, so today is going to be a rant about Battlefield 6. Now, before I start, I just want to say that the game itself is, by modern standards, uh, a good quality game. So I don't want to make it sound like it's a crappy game. I jumped into it and have been trying the beta, open beta, and textures are nice, sound design's great. Um, it's true what they say about all the destructibility. I mean, that's fantastic. Um, but this rant is more about, I guess, realizing that you're no longer the target audience for a game franchise that you once loved. So that's what this is about. If you want a review of the game, this is not for you. So where do we start? First and foremost, um, I'm 33. I've been playing video games since, oh, I don't know, I was probably 9 or 10. I think I got, uh, actually before that, probably an N64, and then the original Xbox is really when I got my first console. So I've been playing games for quite a long time. And I've always been drawn towards, I guess what you'd call more realistic shooters. Uh, Games that force you to play a little slower, a little more tactically, and use your brain as the kind of number one weapon, so to speak. More so than fast twitch shooters. Although I did play, Modern Warfare 2 back in the day a lot. Everyone did. Um, but I have noticed, you know, if I look at the original Battlefields that I was very much into, Battlefield 2 is really the last time I was really into a game in the Battlefield series. And I've kind of thought about that. Why is it that, in this open beta, I haven't really been able to play more than 15 or 20 minutes at a time? Um, the game's fantastic. Uh, the the mechanics are well optimized. It's a smooth experience. Granted, I have a pretty powerful system, um, but it just didn't really hook me, and it's kind of felt that way for the last couple releases. I have quite a few Battlefield games, and even the World War One, World War Two ones, and just haven't really been able to stay intrigued. Um, Same thing with some of the, Modern Warfare or Battlefield or Call of Duty type games. And it dawned on me that even though this is a fantastic game, I think I've kind of aged out of this type of a game. Um, it's not my cup of tea anymore. And I really put some thought into that. What does that actually mean? Um, and I think I figured it out. Um, so, let's go over kind of the features and what they did well. So first and foremost, the destruction's fantastic. If we watch, some of the uh, footage, and game footage, I mean, look at the amount of damage and explosions and those kinds of things happening. It's just absolutely crazy, right? Um, that's makes for a lot of dopamine. Um, the maps are gorgeous. You can tell they've put a lot of thought into making it look lived in. Um, the the weapon systems are well textured, well designed. The animations are very well done. I haven't played any of the vehicle combat, so I can't speak for that. But from the looks of it, you know, that's what really well done. But I just couldn't find myself hooked. The game loop itself is one of sprinting around at full speed, um, basically aiming at the torso of an opposing opponent and holding down the trigger until they die, and kind of rinse repeat. And of course, that changes depending on the class that you play, but that's kind of the whole game mechanic. Um, and I have to say, I think I'm just no longer a fan of these types of games. I understand there's a huge market for them. I understand that, you know, for a lot of people, running around, sprinting around full speed and uh, racking up, kill to death ratio is exciting. Um, it's just not, it's not for me. Um, I've found myself more drawn to titles such as Gray Zone Warfare, titles like Operator, um, games like Ready or Not. I even used to be a huge fan of Ground Branch, which is another great tactical shooter. Um, and when I'm not playing shooters, I'm playing kind of pedantic games like Cold Waters, which is a Cold War submarine simulator. Um, and so I guess the point of this is uh, maybe I just am are not I'm looking for a different type of game than what's commonly heavily marketed. Uh, so you know if you're kind of a person who's looking for a slower, more tactical, more rewarding experience where being quiet and slow and smooth and planning out your mission and making sure your gear suits your mission, and using very detailed communication with your squad members, um, Battlefield really isn't for you. Um, I would look for more realistic indie development type games, like the ones I just mentioned. Lately, I've been playing a lot of Gray Zone Warfare when I have the time, and that game is really scratches the itch. It's not as let's say slow paced as maybe like a Ground Branch would be or an Operator. Um, but the beauty of Gray Zone Warfare, as opposed to your type of Battlefield 6, is the number one, there's no respawning, and if you do respawn, uh, you lose all of your equipment wherever your body was left. So if you're working hard to rack up good quality equipment, you're going to be very careful because number one, if you die, you lose everything. But number two, if you did have, you know, hard to find equipment, you're going to have to find your old body and hope that nobody looted it, and then pick up all the equipment again. So to me, that's a really rewarding experience because it forces you to uh, kind of LARP as a you know private military contractor or somebody like that, and make sure that you are being very slow and careful. And for me, that's kind of a rewarding experience. I, if we kind of I'll pull up some of my footage here from kind of the latest, uh, one that I've done here on Gray Zone. Let's look at, let's see.
He took a knee.
So if we kind of, pull this up, all right, I'll pull.
Oh yeah, he's down.
We'll skip ahead here to where I drop in. So first and foremost, we have to plan out our gear, right? So, it's a night operation, so I have night vision goggles, right? I'm wearing dark clothing. I'm wearing using a suppressed M4 type build, um, specifically one with a shorter barrel, so I don't have a problem when going inside of a building. I'm using M855, otherwise known as green tips, the armor penetrating rounds. Uh, and then you have to also think about things like hydration and things like food, right? So these are things that you have to think about when you're about to do an operation in gray zone. So we plan out our mission and get on the helo and uh, right our way to the uh, the drop point, and the entire time, you're having to be, nice and quiet and intelligent about what you're doing, right? So in this one, we're trying to, or I've realized that my squad, I don't have any places to meet up with my squad since I'm nowhere near as high level as they are. So I figure, hey, while I'm waiting for them, let me go take over a COB, um, or a forward operating base basically, um, and you know at least get some equipment while I'm waiting. So in this case, we're rushing or I'm rushing by myself to a an area here, and you'll see I can see a guy right away, and because he's not wearing night vision like I am, he can't see me. And there's two guys here, in fact, and I have to think to myself, when am I going to take out these guys? What's the best way to take them out without getting shot? And I realize, you know what? I probably can hit the guy through the window and then hit the guy to the right. Uh, and again, he doesn't know where I am, but he's rushing towards the last sound that he heard. And now they're both down. So, you know, playing this game very slow and smooth, as they say, and that's the correct way to play it. So I take their gear and work my way up the road to the COB. In this game, the really only way to make serious money besides the tasks is to pick up equipment and sell it. Um, Now, I've also played games like Arma 3. I haven't played Reforger yet. I'm not going to buy a game that's basically being used as a test bed. Um, but when the, Arma 4 comes out, I will definitely be buying that. One of the things I like about Gray Zone uh, compared to, a title like Arma, which is kind of the standard, if you will, for, you know, military simulations, is that Arma does so much that it can sometimes be, shall we say, chintzy. And what I mean by that is the mechanics, there's so many mechanics and so many layers of mechanics that sometimes uh, you actually run into an issue where some things are harder in the video game than in real life. Like simply, you know, uh, moving over an obstacle or healing yourself, right? There's menus on menus on menus to do something that, in real life, take something out of a pocket, apply a bandage, right? And sometimes that can be really frustrating in a game like Arma, and that's one of the reasons why I really like Gray Zone Warfare, is everything's nice and fluid and logical. Um, there's a basic, medical system. There's a simulation for all of your appendages, your bones, your arteries, things like that. So it's realistic enough that it is punishing. If let's say you take a round to a vital area, you're gonna bleed out right away. If you take a round to like let's say the face or a main artery, you're gonna die instantly. Um, and uh, things like body armor, things like helmets definitely help, but they're definitely not a guarantee. The other thing about games like this is the AI is very punishing. It's very accurate. They can shoot, they can hear, they can see. So you have to be very smart and tactical about your use of things like lights, things like lasers. Um, Sprinting around full speed is not going to work. They're gonna hear you coming. Um, when you do fire your weapon, they're gonna try to see what made that noise, right? They're gonna go investigate, and they're not just gonna rush you. They're gonna try to get around you if they know where you are. Um, so again, for somebody like myself, that adds a layer. That's not a nuisance. That's a feature. I wanna be thinking about a game as something that is, of course, escapism. That's why a lot of people play video games, is you can do something you can't do in real life. But also, I want real life tactics and dynamics to apply to the video game. Um, I find myself when I was younger playing a lot of, Call of Duty and Battlefield and things like that. You end up kind of figuring out the, um, shall I say, uh, ways around the mechanics, right? And you start to cheese the game mechanics to have an edge. And to me, that's sure that that makes you more competitive. And if that's your number one, you know, gain, then fantastic, power to you. But for me, I find that having a going up against combatants that can easily kill you, um, that is something that is more rewarding. It makes pulling off an operation in a clean manner more fun, more rewarding. Um, so, you know, that's kind of my rant. I want to keep it nice and short. I definitely recommend people go try, uh, games like Gray Zone Warfare. Um, you definitely won't regret it. Uh, and as always, feel free to shoot me a comment if there are some games that you would want me to try out. I'm more than happy to vary my game choice, and I will be uploading some other games like Cold Waters uh, uh, pretty soon here. And if I find uh, any other games that you might want to see me play, definitely let me know. I will be uploading Operator. I want to record, like I said, Cold Waters, and I do want to do some uh, player versus enemy on Ready or Not. That's a really fun game. So uh, again, thank you again for clicking on the video and helping this channel grow. It's up to you guys whether I'm just some rando on YouTube or whether this is something that can kind of become a constant thing that I do on the weekends when I have time. Thank you again.